Deep in the wilds of Canada, a young woman is fighting for her life against an illness that's testing everything she's got. But she has an ally, an animal with legendary stamina, whose spirit, she believes, is running beside her. Now she's journeying back into the wild to track wolves and discover how they survive in a dangerous and difficult world. Wildlife biologist Gudrun Pflueger is on a mission to save Canada's wolves. That means immersing herself in their world. It's not easy finding wolves. She must often hike far into the wilderness. Gudrun believes it's worth the effort. Wolves play a critical role in keeping wildlife populations healthy.
They're beautiful animals to watch, absolutely graceful. And for me, in places where wolves are still roaming, my soul feels free.
Exactly what do wolves need to survive? Gudrun wants to find out. What she learns will help conserve them. She must use everything she knows about wolf behavior and bushcraft to track them. The wolves' phenomenal endurance captivates Gudrun.
I always in my life was a very determined person, and success is not achieved right around the next corner.
Gudrun never gives up. She grew up in the Austrian Alps, where she competed as a professional cross-country skier and endurance runner. She has a will of steel and a passion to succeed. A champion spirit with a deep love of the wild.
Growing up in Middle Europe, I just had this idea that Canada is still an endless wild country where wild animals can roam freely.
Gudrun moved to Canada to experience this vast wilderness. Here she encountered the animal that made her want to stay. She made a career researching wolves for the government and wildlife foundations. She learned that this notorious predator has a softer side. Wolves are social animals, just like people. Their family bonds are strong, with the pups the center of attention. They even have babysitters who help out when parents are absent. Wolves now mean more to Gudrun than she ever imagined. In 2005, soon after an extraordinary close encounter with wolves, she fell gravely ill. A cancerous tumour the size of a golf ball was growing in her brain. Her prospects for survival were slim. But through 3 long years of treatment, she used the wolf's legendary stamina to inspire her.
My brain tumor forced me actually to think more about the meaning of life, the meaning of why I am here.
Now on the road to recovery, Gudrun has found a meaning for her life: to fight for wolf conservation. First, she's traveling back to the remote island meadow on Canada's west coast, where she encountered those amazing wolves.
This wolf encounter, it gave me so much strength. They came and they gave me their will to fight for my life and to be determined. And today I just, it's amazing, but I'm in a position that I can come back and give them my thank. Over the past 3 years, I had tons of time to imagine this magic moment.
The kayak journey is only a kilometre, but it saps all Gudrun's energy. Her spirit is strong, but she's only a shadow of the champion athlete she once was. The coastal wolves that live here are special. They rarely, if ever, encounter people, so have no reason to fear. They're part of a unique population living along this coastline. Scientists consider them a distinct subspecies. Their home is a temperate rainforest, a rich habitat with rivers supporting huge numbers of spawning salmon and predators. These coastal wolves are different from mainland wolves. They're smaller and will eat seafood like fish and mussels, even seals. This is the meadow where Gudrun encountered the wolves.
This is where I was sitting. When the wolves came and surrounded me. Yeah.
Now Gudrun can relive that amazing experience.
I remember I was with my binocs starting to scan and starting over here. And in the meantime, there was already a first wolf coming out somewhere from the back, from the far back there. And I guess I froze and just could not believe. And I at first thought, they don't see me, they just come out. But they came like pretty straight towards me, and another one. At the end there were 7. Eventually I put my backpack away and lay down, not to scare the wolves. And they sure came like all the way.
Gudrun used body language to signal she was no threat, laying low and avoiding eye contact. The female white wolf's raised tail showed she was confident and unafraid. The black male was more cautious, with a lowered tail. Gudrun became convinced she was in no danger.
There was no hectic movements of any of the wolves. They were very interested in everything, but they never had a sign of uneasiness. I think we each other told without words that we are comfortable with each other.
For the first time in her life, Gudrun interacted with wolves face to face. And she discovered that wolves can be surprisingly curious, unafraid, and unthreatening.
It's actually overwhelming to be back here after 3 years. Makes my memory actually very vivid again.
As the adults relaxed, their youngsters felt safe to play. They showed Gudrun a secret side, with no fear or aggression. After 4 hours, with night falling, Gudrun tried to leave. The wolves were quick to notice. The white female ran in front, blocking her way. She wanted to ensure Gudrun posed no threat to her family. Then, to re-establish her territory, she marked the spot where Gudrun had been sitting. Gudrun's only defense was a can of pepper spray, but not once did she ever dream of using it. Slowly, she crawled out of the meadow, escorted by the white wolf. Before she leaves, a call goodbye, the way wolves communicate. Her journey here is a milestone. She's now strong enough to get back to work and study wolves where she's most needed, 1,000 kilometers to the southeast, in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. Much of this habitat is too steep and inhospitable for wolves. They can only survive on the valley floors. But this is land that people want. With the human population growing, The wolves' future is in jeopardy.
This is a wolf country. However, you barely see the wolves. They are very, very skittish of people. As soon as the white men, the first settlers, moved into this area, they got absolutely hunted, trapped, shot, poisoned. And they're very social animals, so they pass on this experience to their offsprings, and they learn very quick to avoid us.
If Gudrun is to stand a chance of finding wolves in this challenging landscape, she needs to get fit again.
I really feel at home in the Rocky Mountains. For me, standing on the top of a mountain is just like feeling free and feeling how unimportant I am, and that makes me actually very, very calm, because we are just a part of this landscape.
Gudrun now wants to spend the next year following the local wolf pack. How many are here? And what pressures do these wolves face? Gudrun is working at the Nipika Mountain Resort in BC's Kootenay Valley, helping to care for the horses and guiding tourists.
Okay, I'm not alone.
A good base from which to plan her search.
It's such a cold night.
It's going to be a challenge finding any wildlife in this thick forest, let alone wolves. No one has studied the wolves here for years, so Gudrun will have to start from scratch. She will have to understand how they live behind these trees. Many of the animals here are wolf prey, even large elk. But the wolves have enemies too. A bear can kill a wolf. There's one special wolf that Gudrun wants to find, which she last encountered in 2003.
We had one radio-collared wolf, and her name was Hope. And I was actually the last researcher who followed her.
Hope was the leader of a wolf pack in Banff National Park. She left when her mate was killed by hunters. Her search for a new mate took her on a 75-kilometer journey through the Rockies to the Kootenay Valley. Here, she raised a new family. Today, the signal from her radio collar is silent. It might just be dead batteries, but is Hope dead too?
She carries the name Hope, and I think she also carries hope for the wolves. So my hope is that she's still out there in this landscape, and it would be wonderful to start looking for her.
But where is she? Wolf territories here can cover 3,000 square kilometers. Finding any wolves won't be easy, especially in summer when tracks are harder to follow. But Gudrun has a plan. She wants to set up several remote cameras deep in the forest.
Yeah. This is always so sweet. There's a dried mushroom hanging in a pine. This is my favorite sign of squirrels. Because what they do, they really harvest mushrooms and then they hang it somewhere where it's open and sunny to dry. Winter food.
Gudrun knows that wolves follow deer, so she heads down a deer trail.
That's good. Obviously deer around.
The deer don't only attract wolves.
Another Saturn just like yours.
Oh my god.
Hunters.
Color and everything. Well, I guess what you look like when you go by.
Well, it's obviously hunting season, so typically they go for elk and deer here, the biggest buck. But they're absolutely allowed if they have a valid big game license to also shoot wolves if they see one. Don't need a special license for that. So I hope they don't see more wolves than we see right now.
For a recovering cancer patient, hiking the Rockies is no walk in the woods.
I think I'm just not there yet. To run like a young rabbit. Sometimes it feels like I just can't keep up right now. This kind of image is what I always envisioned while lying in the clinic.
Almost no patients with Gudrun's form of cancer survive longer than a year.
Just get 10 herbs.
After extensive brain surgery, she underwent 3 years of therapy to overcome the illness. Only the dream of getting back into the wild kept her going. After 6 weeks of scouting, Gudrun begins to target the best places she thinks wolves will appear. The next step is to put up some remote cameras. Each camera projects an infrared beam. If a wolf walks through it, the camera will record. Gudrun must set it at the right height. She has only 7 cameras, so needs to choose each location very carefully. If the wolf named Hope is still alive, one of the remote cameras should film her. Deep in the center of Kootenay Park, there's one location where Gudrun has high hopes. Here, she finds her first really good signs of wolves. She needs to be quiet. Wolves could be nearby.
So now I'm definitely in wolf territory. That's a beautiful, what I call wolf triangle. And it's where several, like 3 or 2 wolf trails meet.
and they go here, and of course here straight. And in the middle you see there are several scats and beautiful wolf highway here. So, this is a very fresh bear claw sign. A bear must have gone up here and probably escaped the wolves actually, because we're just in deepest wolf country here.
Are the wolves still here? And what will they do if she surprises them? The Wolf Highway leads Gudrun straight to a sensational discovery. A wolf den, but no wolves. She quickly installs her last 2 cameras. So as not to disturb breeding wolves, she won't return for several months until the season is over. In the meantime, she'll check out the other cameras.
I show lots of deer in this area. That's good. A good start.
The first results are disappointing. Just wolf prey, no wolves. And strangely, several empty shots triggered by something that moved out of frame before the camera got up to speed.
I had this camera now out for 6 weeks, and I got 45 events, and it looks actually like it's always the same 4 or 5 animals which trigger and hang out in this area. Yeah, too bad, but I think all those empty shots are what I call them running wolf shots.
The search for hope gives Gudrun a special view of life in the Rocky Mountains and the prey the wolves rely on. They're even followed by mountain lions. But Gudrun also discovers this wolf habitat has become a playground for people. No wonder the wolves are hard to find. They are being driven away. At the end of summer, Gudrun returns to the wolf den site. A wolf pack uses many dens, but did they use this one this year?
So I just looked. It said memory full. That means it took at least 600 images. And that's actually a really, really good sign.
Was it really wolves or just a waving bush that triggered the camera? After 5 months' hard work, Gudrun can't wait to find out. Like before, the first camera is full of empty shots. But then,
Oh yeah, oh this is great. Yes, looking back,
an adult wolf.
his tail high up, like so. Yes, oh yeah, this is a young one. See, it's just like how uncoordinated everything is, just wobbling, and that's great. And a happy.
This is a great discovery, an active wolf den with at least one pup. Now what will the den camera show? A mother and her newborn pups as they emerge from the den for the very first time. These rare pictures are a breakthrough.
Oh, there must be like maybe 4 weeks, 4 to 5 max.
Only Gudrun's remote cameras could have captured images like this. For the second time in her life, she has been granted a privileged insight into the secret lives of wolves.
Oh yeah, dead. And she's nursing. Yeah, she's.
The pups will remain a year with the pack, who will teach them important life skills.
Well, 6 at least.
Could the pup's mother be Hope? To find out, Gudrun will take her images to nearby Banff to show them to another wolf researcher who knows Hope.
Yeah, quick.
Yeah, but in this direction.
Yeah.
So we're not coming with the wind. That's good, you know.
Gunter Block is as passionate about wolves as Gudrun and has been researching the local Banff wolves since 1993. He recognizes every one of them, like their family.
Okay. Not so much showing.
Gudrun never disturbs the wolves she researches, so she's never seen the wolf Hope. She doesn't know if this mother wolf is her. Gunter will.
Yeah, it's nice shots
So we can
and rare.
Yeah, we were
You can be
very,
lucky.
very
You
lucky.
were lucky. They just came out.
Interesting.
And here you see a nice submissive behavior. Can we stop that for a second here? Because this is definitely not Hope. And I tell you why. She's showing submissive behavior, extreme submissive behavior. But if it would be Hope, she would never do that. Let's have a look at my film footage here. And
Gunter has research footage of all the wolves, including Hope. She has very distinctive eye markings.
yeah, like glasses, you know? You see, that looks like glasses somehow. And this one we just looked at doesn't have it. So that means that's definitely not Hope. I'm really sorry for you, but we can be sure.
It's clear that Hope was the dominant female in her pack. Her raised tail signified her status to other wolves, and she wasn't afraid to show who was boss. A submissive female couldn't have driven Hope away unless she was injured or ill. Gudrun must accept that Hope is either dead or has moved on again. But if Hope is gone, then why? How hard is it for a wolf to live here? Roads and railways now crisscross their home. The wolves hardly ever howl in this valley. They can't hear each other for all the traffic.
Here, we're looking at the main travel corridor of the wolves, including Hope. So first of all, I have to explain you that here's the highway. That means the territory, the wolf territory, get divided. And if you look at the Bow River right here, they move along in the winter on the frozen river, and in the summer travel on the railway. And the important thing to note is they have no much options.
Young wolves in particular are not experienced enough to avoid a speeding train or car. Road traffic, along with hunting and trapping, accounts for almost all wolf deaths here. It's most dangerous in winter, when wolves are confined to the valley floors. It's a harsh time. Temperatures can plummet to minus 40 degrees. It's harsh for Gudrun, too, when she returns to her simple mountain cabin up the hill from Nipaka.
Here we go.
Just making a cup of tea is no easy task when the water is frozen solid.
I've just been away from my little home here for 2 days, and right away the temperature drops, and it's basically the same like outside. So it's a challenge. Like this tiny little fireplace is basically the only efficient heat source. Gonna live in my down jacket the whole winter, day and night, I guess.
Whatever the hardships, Gudrun appreciates the winter, because this is the best time to look for wolves. Wherever they go, they leave a clear trail, footprints in the snow.
This is a wolf track, and the wolf is walking up north, whereas this hole is pretty certainly an elk going down the other way. You see there's already ice crystals building in there. It's probably at least 5-6 days old, but they're here, and that's great. The other thing what you see actually is that the elk sinks much deeper, whereas the wolf, even here, this is a wolf track here, can walk on the top of the crust. Wolves have an incredible advantage when they go hunting. It is much harder for the ungulates, for the elk, for the deer, for the moose, because they break through the snow, and the wolf walks like Jesus on top of the water. Great.
New snowfalls are best for tracking wildlife. And one thing the Rockies have is plenty of snow. In winter, the wolves prey, like bighorn sheep, move down to the valley floors to find food and escape the bitter cold. Salt laid down on roads draws them into danger. This man-made hazard is a continuous threat. Three young wolves were killed on the roads here since Gudrun began searching for Hope 9 months ago. That makes the remaining wolves much more wary, and Gudrun's search much more difficult. The wolves can sometimes surprise Gudrun.
What is that? Some fresh tracks crossing here. Lots of fresh tracks on my driveway. I can't believe I'm going crazy. Those guys drive me nuts. Here I am, going up and down for weeks in the valley to try to find them, and in the meantime, they trot on my driveway, playing around, and probably even past my cabin. I can't believe.
With fresh prints right on her doorstep, Gudrun will track down the pack at daybreak. She needs to rest well. By morning, the wolves could be miles away. A warm fire keeps out the frozen winter, but Gudrun knows just how tough it is for the wolves outside. These animals are survivors. For 6 months, they must endure the hardships of a mountain winter. Day in, day out, they search for food. As a team, they can hunt large prey like deer, moose, and elk. The wolves encircle the elk. In deep snow, they have the advantage, gliding over the surface. And with their incredible stamina, they run their prey to exhaustion. One large elk will keep the pack alive through another week of winter. Back in Nipika, an overnight snowfall means that Gudrun can resume her search for wolves on skis. Now she can travel just about anywhere the wolves can. But where are they? The recent snowfall has covered yesterday's tracks. After 2 hours' search, she finds a sign.
Woohoo! That looks very fresh. However, there are two different sizes of tracks here. One looks more like coyote, and the bigger one, fresh wolf tracks, and a scent mark. Yeah, it smells really, really strong, bitter, and really stinky, so definitely wolf. Just see how fresh they are, because all the little snow clumps, they're not frozen yet on the track, so, and it's really cold today. They're not very far ahead of me. So the wolf track actually hits right towards the road here. If they do it, I better do it too.
At last, Gudrun is within minutes of catching up with the wolves.
Just arrived at a very, very fresh wolf kill, where at least a whole pack killed, or at least feeded on a deer. Here you still see the very last leftovers, nothing else. I don't see any bones, only a few black hair.
There are wolf tracks everywhere. A deer skin and blood. Gudrun can piece together the clues to understand what happened here.
Every member of the pack grabs, takes, pulls off a part of the deer.
There is order in the pack. Each wolf takes away a portion. Gudrun can tell where each wolf ate its meal.
Back there and behind the trees, this is a big one, probably for two wolves. Here is one even padding down. Here another one. Over there another one, and far back there.
Then Gudrun spots movement in the distance. It's the wolves.
Just watching one wolf right now.
Some of the wolves are still feeding.
Grey wolf.
A wolf can devour 10 kilos of food at a time. They have a feast and famine life.
Just one grey. Now a second. There's a second one coming out there. Yeah, 2 grey ones. Also has something there.
Unfortunately, neither of these wolves is Hope. If there was a meal to be had, Hope should be here feeding with her pack, dominating the other wolves. Gudrun will keep looking for Hope, and she'll keep fighting for wolf conservation. She feels she owes her life to wolves.
Well, if you ask people, is it possible to totally recover from this kind of cancer, what I had? And people again would probably say, no, it's not possible. And then I would say, well, already once as something impossible happened. Why not a second time?
Gudrun's impossible wolf encounter was just the beginning of a fascinating journey into their lives. And the impossible has happened again. In the spring of 2009, she was astonished and delighted to learn she was 6 months pregnant. She hadn't thought this possible, as she was still having cancer treatment. It has not made her sterile. 3 months later, Gudrun gave birth to a healthy son. In her quest to save wolves, Gudrun has discovered there are precious few remaining in these mountains. Just one small pack. Canada's national parks were created to celebrate and protect wildlife. Gudrun's rare footage proves that wolves belong here. As top predators, wolves play a vital role in this Rocky Mountain ecosystem. Gudrun knows all this, but she sees more beyond their strength and their stamina. For her, no animal embodies the spirit of the wild like the wolf. Gudrun found hope in turning to the wild and to the wolves. She feels they've been beside her throughout her illness. Her spirit is truly running with wolves.